People walk through life believing that others have control over their emotions. They assume that the words, actions, and judgments of others dictate how they feel, shaping their self-worth and emotional stability. But here's the truth. No one has power over your emotions unless you grant them that power. The illusion of control is one of the greatest tricks ever played on the human mind. From a young age, we are conditioned to respond to external validation, approval, and criticism as if they define who we are. Society programs us to believe that our happiness, confidence, and sense of self depend on what others think, say, and do. This is where the deception begins. They are fooling you into believing that you need their acceptance to feel whole. Look around you. How many people spend their days chasing approval? How many are walking through life reacting to every insult, every rejection, and every ounce of negativity thrown their way? They have bought into the lie that their emotional state is controlled by external circumstances, that their peace of mind is at the mercy of what others decide to say or do. When someone criticizes them, they crumble. When someone praises them, they feel worthy. When they face rejection, they lose themselves in despair. This is not living. This is existing as a puppet on a string, pulled in every direction by forces that have no right to dictate your inner world. The truth is, emotions do not come from the outside. They come from within. Nothing external has the ability to create an emotional response within you unless you allow it. It is not the words of another person that hurt you. It is your interpretation of those words. It is not the rejection that causes pain. It is the meaning you attach to it. When you believe that others control your feelings, you give them the keys to your emotional state, allowing them to push you into suffering whenever they choose. You might not even realize it, but every time you react to someone's negativity, you reinforce the illusion that they hold power over you. Think about how easily people get offended, how quickly they let the opinions of others dictate their mood. Someone criticizes them and suddenly their entire day is ruined. Someone disrespects them and they become consumed with anger or self-doubt. This is the illusion in action. The reality is that words are just words. Actions are just actions. It is not what happens to you that determines how you feel. It is how you choose to respond. The power lies within you, but if you don't recognize this, you will live your entire life being emotionally controlled by external forces. Now, let's take this deeper. Why do people seek control over your emotions in the first place? Why do they try to make you feel small, insecure, or unworthy? The answer is simple: power. When someone can manipulate your emotional state, they have influence over you. They can direct your focus, drain your energy, and keep you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. This is how people maintain control in relationships, workplaces, and social dynamics. They create the illusion that your happiness, confidence, and sense of self depend on their approval. And if you believe it, you fall into their trap. You see, emotional control is a game that most people don't even realize they are playing. The more reactive you are, the easier you are to manipulate. This is why emotional mastery is one of the greatest strengths you can develop. When you refuse to let others dictate your emotions, you become untouchable. You move through life with an unshakable sense of self, immune to the attempts of others to control your inner world. This is true freedom when you decide how you feel, independent of what anyone else says or does. Consider this. If someone insults you and you feel angry, is it really their words that caused your anger? Or was it your choice to interpret those words as an attack on your self-worth? If someone ignores you and you feel rejected, is it their action that created the pain, or is it the meaning you attach to their silence? The moment you understand that your emotions are created from within, you take back your power. You begin to see through the illusion. You realize that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. But here's the challenge. Breaking free from this illusion requires awareness and discipline. It requires you to step outside of the conditioning that has been drilled into you since childhood. Most people go their entire lives never questioning the belief that others control their emotions. They remain trapped in a reactionary state, constantly at the mercy of external forces. They never stop to ask themselves, is this really true? Do they really have power over me, or am I giving it to them? The moment you start questioning the illusion, cracks begin to form. You begin to see that the control you thought others had over you was never real to begin with. Imagine walking through life completely unaffected by negativity. Imagine being so deeply rooted in your sense of self that no insult, rejection, or criticism could shake you. This is not an impossible dream. This is a skill that can be developed. It begins with awareness. The next time you feel triggered, pause. Before reacting, ask yourself, who is really in control here? If you can recognize that the only person who decides how you feel is you, you break free from the game. You no longer play by the rules designed to keep you emotionally enslaved. This is where true strength lies, not in suppressing emotions, not in pretending negativity doesn't exist, but in understanding that you are the only one with the power to decide how you feel. When you stop giving others control over your emotions, you step into a level of personal freedom that most people will never experience. The illusion begins to crumble, and for the first time, you see reality for what it is. You were never at the mercy of others. You only believed you were. Negative feelings don't just appear out of nowhere. They are triggered by something, an event, a comment, a look, or even an assumption about what someone else is thinking. These triggers are not random. They are often used as tools to manipulate your emotions, whether intentionally or unintentionally. The moment you allow these triggers to dictate how you feel, you become a puppet on strings, reacting exactly as expected. The problem is, most people don't even realize they are being manipulated. They think their emotional reactions are natural, automatic responses to the world around them, but in reality, they are being led by invisible forces designed to control them. Think about how easily people can push your buttons. Someone insults you, and you immediately feel anger rising within you. Someone ignores your message, and suddenly you feel unimportant. Someone makes a sarcastic comment, and your confidence takes a hit. But if you step back and analyze these situations, you'll see a pattern. The person triggering your emotions often gains something from your reaction. When they get a rise out of you, they feel powerful. When they make you feel insecure, they gain control. When they make you second guess yourself, they weaken your position. This is how emotional manipulation works. It operates beneath the surface, influencing how you feel without you even realizing it. Every single time you react emotionally to a trigger, you reinforce the idea that someone else controls your state of mind. You may not say it out loud, but your actions prove it. If someone can ruin your day with a single sentence, they own your peace of mind. If someone's criticism makes you doubt yourself, they own your confidence. If someone's rejection makes you feel worthless, they own your self-worth. This is exactly what they want. The more they can control your emotions, the more power they have over you. The key to breaking free from this manipulation is awareness. Understanding that negative feelings don't come from the outside world, but from how you choose to process external events. Most people go through life never questioning why certain things trigger them. They assume that feeling hurt, angry, or insecure is a natural response to what happens around them. But what if you didn't respond the way people expect? What if instead of feeling insulted, you laughed? What if instead of feeling rejected, you felt indifferent? What if instead of feeling offended, you stayed completely unbothered? The moment you stop reacting the way they want you to, their control over you disappears. They can no longer manipulate you. They lose their power because you refuse to play the game. It's no coincidence that the people who trigger you the most are often the ones who want to see you struggle. Whether it's a toxic friend, a jealous coworker, or an ex-partner trying to get under your skin, they thrive on your reactions. They test you, provoke you, and feed off the emotional response you give them. This is why they know exactly what to say to get a reaction out of you. They have studied you. They know your weak spots. They know what makes you insecure, what makes you doubt yourself, what words cut the deepest. The question is, why are you giving them that kind of access? Why are you letting them pull your strings like a puppet? When you allow someone to control how you feel, you hand over the keys to your mind. You let them dictate your mood, your energy, and your focus. And once they realize they have that kind of influence over you, they will use it against you every chance they get. The worst part is, this type of emotional manipulation can become so subtle that you don't even recognize it. It can come disguised as a joke, a backhanded compliment, a passive-aggressive remark, or even silence. Sometimes the most powerful triggers are not words at all, but a lack of words. The deliberate ignoring, the cold shoulder, the calculated indifference. The reason these tactics work so well is that they tap into your insecurities. If someone ignores you and you feel rejected, it's because deep down you fear not being important. If someone criticizes you and you feel crushed, it's because deep down you seek validation. The truth is, negative feelings only take root in places where insecurities already exist. This is why emotional manipulation is so effective, because it exploits the wounds that were already there. And until you address those wounds, you will always be vulnerable to external triggers. The moment you recognize that emotional triggers are nothing more than manipulation tools, you begin to see through the illusion. You start to understand that your emotions are not being controlled by others, but by the meanings you attach to their actions. This realization alone is enough to break the cycle. When you stop taking things personally, you strip manipulators of their power. They can try to push your buttons, but if you refuse to react, they have nothing to work with. Imagine going through life completely unaffected by negativity. Imagine someone trying to provoke you only to be met with indifference. Imagine someone trying to make you feel small only for you to stand even taller. This level of emotional control is possible, but it requires a shift in mindset. You have to stop assuming that every insult is an attack, that every rejection is a reflection of your worth, that every negative comment deserves a reaction. You have to remind yourself over and over again that people only have power over you if you allow them to. The real reason people trigger you is not because they are powerful, it's because you believe they are. The moment you stop believing in their ability to affect you, they become powerless. Their words lose weight, their actions lose meaning, their attempts to manipulate you fall flat. And once you reach this level of awareness, you become untouchable. You no longer waste energy on people who want to see you react. You no longer let others dictate your emotions. You rise above it all, untouchable, unshaken, and in complete control of your inner world. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but if you are not in control of it, someone else will be. Every single day you are exposed to thoughts, opinions, and beliefs that are not your own. They come from the media, from social circles, from past experiences, and most dangerously, from people who want to manipulate you. The problem is, most people never question where their thoughts come from. They assume that what they think is a reflection of who they are, but in reality, much of what they believe has been planted there by outside forces. The way you see yourself, the way you interpret events, the way you react emotionally, it has all been shaped by influences you may not even be aware of. And if you are not conscious of this, You will fall into the trap of thinking that your negative emotions are natural, when in reality they are carefully designed reactions to conditioning that has been programmed into you over time. Think about how easily negativity spreads. You don't even have to experience something bad for yourself. Just hearing about it can put you in a negative state of mind. A single news headline can make you anxious. A single comment can make you doubt yourself. A single memory can take you back to a place of pain. But why? Why does negativity hold so much power? The answer is simple: because your mind has been trained to focus on it. Since childhood, you have been conditioned to respond more strongly to negative experiences than to positive ones. You have been taught to avoid failure, fear rejection, seek approval, and worry about what others think. And the more you reinforce these patterns, the stronger they become. This is why negative thoughts seem automatic. They don't require effort. They appear instantly without you even trying. You don't have to consciously choose to feel insecure when someone criticizes you. The reaction happens on its own. You don't have to force yourself to feel unworthy when you're ignored. It just happens. But here's the truth. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's real. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's the truth. Feelings are not facts, but if you never challenge them, they become your reality. The real danger is that most people don't realize they are trapped in a cycle of negative thinking. They assume their emotions are accurate reflections of reality, so they never stop to question them. They never ask themselves, is this thought even true? They never pause to consider, did I choose to feel this way, or was this feeling planted in me? This is why so many people struggle with negativity. It is not because they are naturally negative people, but because they have never been taught how to think independently. They have never been shown that they can take control of their own minds, rewrite their beliefs, and choose how they respond to the world around them. The reason negative feelings persist is because they are fed by attention. The more you focus on them, the stronger they grow. If someone makes a rude comment and you replay it in your head all day, you are giving it power. If you make a mistake and dwell on it for weeks, you are feeding the feeling of failure. If you feel insecure and constantly look for evidence that confirms your self-doubt, you are strengthening the belief that you are not good enough. This is how the mind works. It reinforces whatever you focus on. If you continuously direct your attention toward negative thoughts, they will multiply. But if you learn to redirect your focus, you can break the cycle. Imagine that your mind is like a garden. Every thought you entertain is a seed. If you allow negative thoughts to take root, they will grow like weeds, spreading and taking over your entire mental landscape. But if you plant empowering thoughts, if you choose to water ideas of confidence, strength, and self-worth, those will grow instead. The problem is, most people don't even realize that they have the power to decide which thoughts to nurture. They go through life believing that they have no control over their minds, that they are simply victims of whatever emotions arise. But that is an illusion. The mind is not your master, it is your tool. And once you learn how to use it, you will never again be a prisoner to negative emotions. The first step in breaking free is awareness. You must start paying attention to the thoughts that run through your mind on a daily basis. Instead of accepting every negative feeling as truth, start questioning it. If you feel unworthy, ask yourself, who told me that? Where did this belief come from? If you feel anxious about what others think, ask yourself, why does their opinion matter? Who gave them authority over my self-image? Most of the time, you will find that your fears and insecurities were never yours to begin with. They were given to you by someone else. And the moment you recognize this, you take back control. The second step is to stop reacting to negativity. When you catch yourself dwelling on a negative thought, do not engage with it. Do not analyze it. Do not fight it. Simply observe it. Recognize that it is just a thought and let it pass. The more you practice this, the weaker those thoughts become. Eventually, they lose their grip on you because you stop feeding them with attention. The third step is to reprogram your mind with empowering beliefs. This does not happen overnight, but it is entirely possible. Just as negativity is learned, positivity can be learned too. The key is repetition, feeding your mind with thoughts of strength, confidence, and self-worth until they become your new default. This is why successful people do not waste time entertaining doubt or fear. They understand that thoughts create reality, so they consciously choose what to believe. They do not allow negative thoughts to take up space in their minds because they know that whatever they focus on expands. Your mind is like a battlefield, and every day you are either winning or losing the war against negativity. If you do not take control of your thoughts, someone else will. If you do not guard your mind, it will be filled with ideas that weaken you. But the moment you decide to think for yourself, to question every belief, to reject every negative thought that tries to take hold, you become unstoppable. You become the master of your own mind, free from the influence of those who seek to control you. Every single day you are presented with a choice: to believe in yourself or to let the voices of others dictate your worth. The problem is, most people don't realize they are making this choice at all. They assume that their self-perception is fixed, that how they feel about themselves is just a natural reflection of reality. But this is the greatest deception of all. Your self-perception is not something that exists independently. It is shaped, molded, and reinforced by what you allow into your mind. And if you are not careful, it will be built on the opinions, expectations, and judgments of those who do not have your best interests at heart. People spend far too much time worrying about what others think of them, and they don't even realize how much control they are giving away in the process. When you let someone else's words define you, you are handing them power over your life. When you allow criticism to make you feel small, you are allowing another person to dictate your self-worth. When you seek validation from the outside world, you are putting your confidence in the hands of people who may not even care about you. And yet this is what most people do. They live their lives in reaction to what others say, how others see them, and how others treat them. They allow themselves to be emotionally manipulated without even realizing it. The reality is, people will always have opinions. Some will praise you and some will tear you down. Some will admire you and some will resent you. Some will believe in you and some will try to make you doubt yourself. But none of that has anything to do with you. It is simply a reflection of who they are. If someone speaks negatively about you, it says more about them than it does about you. If someone tries to make you feel small, it is because they are insecure themselves. If someone refuses to see your worth, it is because they do not even recognize their own. And yet, too many people internalize the negativity of others as if it is their own truth. They carry the weight of other people's judgments as if they are facts. They allow themselves to feel unworthy because someone else failed to see their value. You have to understand that the way people treat you is a direct reflection of their own internal state. A confident person does not feel the need to belittle others. A secure person does not need to prove themselves by tearing someone else down. A person who is truly happy does not go around spreading negativity. When someone tries to make you doubt yourself, it is because they are struggling with their own self-doubt. When someone criticizes you harshly, it is because they are unhappy with themselves. Once you understand this, you stop taking things personally. You stop letting the opinions of others shake your confidence. You realize that their words, their actions, their negativity, it has nothing to do with you. But here's where most people go wrong. They spend too much time trying to prove themselves to people who will never see their worth. They chase validation from those who will never give it to them. They waste energy seeking approval from those who do not matter. And in doing so, they give up their power. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. You do not need permission to believe in yourself. You do not need approval to be confident in who you are. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you truly take control of your life. You have to stop letting others define you. Stop allowing their words to shape your self-image. Stop believing that just because someone doesn't see your worth, that means it isn't there. The truth is, most people cannot even see their own value. How can they possibly recognize yours? The only person who needs to believe in you is you. The only opinion that truly matters is the one you hold about yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with your thoughts, your actions, and your decisions. You are the one who has to wake up every morning and look in the mirror. And if you do not believe in yourself, no amount of external validation will ever be enough. The problem is, too many people spend their lives waiting. They wait for someone to tell them they are good enough. They wait for someone to recognize their talents. They wait for approval, for permission, for reassurance. And in waiting, they remain stuck. They put their potential on hold. They hold back from taking action, from pursuing their dreams, from stepping into their power. But the truth is, no one is coming to validate you. No one is going to give you permission to be great. No one is going to hand you the confidence you are looking for. That is something you must build within yourself. You have to stop letting the fear of judgment hold you back. Stop worrying about what others will say. Stop hesitating because you are afraid of criticism. Stop playing small to make others comfortable. The reality is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. If you succeed, people will criticize you. If you fail, people will criticize you. If you take a risk, people will doubt you. If you play it safe, people will judge you. No matter what path you choose, opinions will always exist. So why let them control you? The only way to free yourself from the opinions of others is to build unshakable confidence in yourself. Confidence does not come from approval. It does not come from validation. It does not come from being liked. Confidence comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone tell you otherwise. It comes from understanding your worth and not allowing external voices to dictate it. It comes from deciding once and for all that you are enough. Not because someone else says so, but because you choose to believe it. You have to take your power back. That means no longer allowing other people's negativity to shape your reality. That means refusing to absorb their doubts, their insecurities, their fears. That means choosing every single day to believe in yourself, regardless of what anyone else says or thinks. Because at the end of the day, no one can take your confidence from you unless you let them. No one can make you feel small unless you give them that power. No one can define you unless you allow them to. The choice is yours. The mind is the most powerful tool you possess, yet most people allow it to be controlled by forces outside of themselves. They let circumstances dictate their emotions. They let the opinions of others shape their self-emotion, and they let negativity take root in their thoughts without ever questioning where it comes from. The truth is, your thoughts create your reality. What you focus on expands, what you believe shapes your experiences, and what you accept as truth becomes the foundation of your life. If you allow negative thoughts to dominate your mind, they will manifest as negative experiences. If you accept limitations imposed by others, you will live a life that feels small and constrained. But if you take control of your mind, if you master your thoughts, you can transform your entire life. The problem is, most people are completely unaware of the thoughts running through their minds. They do not realize that their inner dialogue is the reason they feel stuck, unworthy, or defeated. They assume that their emotions are simply reactions to the world around them, never realizing that their emotions are created by the thoughts they allow to take root. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply responds to what you feed it. If you constantly feed it doubt, insecurity, and fear, it will create a reality that reflects those things. If you tell yourself that you are not good enough, your mind will find evidence to support that belief. If you focus on everything that is wrong, your brain will filter out everything that is right. But the moment you decide to take control, the moment you choose to shift your thoughts, you gain access to a power most people never tap into. Most people let their thoughts run on autopilot. They do not question where their beliefs come from. They do not challenge the narratives they have been told. And they do not take the time to reprogram their subconscious mind. From a young age, you are conditioned by the world around you, by your parents, your teachers, the media, and society. You are told what is possible and what is not. You are given labels, expectations, and limitations. You are taught how to think, what to believe, and what to fear. And unless you make a conscious effort to unlearn the conditioning that does not serve you, you will live your entire life based on ideas that were never your own. You will accept limitations that are not real. You will believe in fears that were implanted in you, and you will see yourself through a lens that was shaped by others. To take control of your life, you must first take control of your mind. You must become aware of the thoughts that shape your reality. You must recognize the limiting beliefs that have been planted in your subconscious. You must challenge the stories you have been telling yourself about who you are and what you are capable of. The greatest battle you will ever fight is the one within your own mind. The moment you stop allowing negative thoughts to control you, you become unstoppable. Most people do not understand the power of their subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like a sponge. It absorbs everything you expose it to. Every word you speak, every thought you think, and every belief you accept gets stored deep within you, shaping your actions, your decisions, and your reality. If you have been conditioned to believe that success is difficult, you will struggle at every step. If you have been told that you are not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough, you will find ways to prove those beliefs true. But the good news is you can reprogram your subconscious mind. You can replace negative beliefs with empowering ones. You can retrain your brain to focus on possibilities instead of limitations. You can install a new mindset, one that serves you instead of holding you back. The key to transforming your mind is repetition. You did not develop your current beliefs overnight. They were programmed into you over years of repetition. The same way you were conditioned to doubt yourself, you can condition yourself to believe in yourself. The same way you were trained to focus on the negative, you can train yourself to focus on the positive. Every time you catch a negative thought, replace it with a positive one. Every time you doubt yourself, affirm your worth. Every time you feel fear, remind yourself of your strength. You must become relentless in reshaping your inner world, because your inner world determines your outer world. One of the most effective ways to reprogram your mind is through affirmations. Affirmations are not just positive words, they are powerful commands to your subconscious mind. When you repeat something with conviction, your brain starts to accept it as truth. When you declare, I am confident, I am worthy, I am unstoppable, you begin to reshape your self-image. Your mind begins to align with these statements, and over time, they become your reality. But affirmations alone are not enough. You must also take action. You must back up your words with behavior that reinforces your new beliefs. If you tell yourself you are confident but continue to avoid challenges, your subconscious will not believe you. If you affirm your worth but allow yourself to be treated poorly, your mind will reject the affirmation. You must align your actions with your new mindset for true transformation to occur. Another powerful way to reprogram your mind is through visualization. Your brain does not know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you close your eyes and see yourself succeeding, achieving, and thriving, you are training your brain to accept those experiences as real. You are creating new neural pathways that support your success. The more you visualize, the more your subconscious mind believes that success is natural for you. And when your mind believes something, your actions will follow. You must also guard your mind against negativity. Just as you must be intentional about the thoughts you feed yourself, you must also be intentional about the information you consume. If you surround yourself with negative people, if you expose yourself to fear-driven media, if you allow toxic influences into your life, you are poisoning your subconscious mind. You must be ruthless in protecting your mental space. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Consume content that inspires you and immerse yourself in an environment that reinforces your growth. Mastering your mind is not something that happens overnight. It is a lifelong commitment. But the moment you decide to take control, everything changes. You are no longer a victim of your thoughts. You are the creator of them. You are no longer controlled by negativity. You are in charge of your emotions. You are no longer living on autopilot. You are designing your life with intention. And when you truly understand this, when you fully grasp the power you hold within you, there is nothing you cannot achieve.